Overnight, the global picture is being shaped by escalating Middle East risk, fresh signals of strategic rearmament in Asia, and growing concern about the fragility of critical infrastructure, from shipping lanes to satellites. In the Gulf, President Donald Trump again publicly berated allies over the conflict with Iran, telling partners to go get your own oil and warning the U.S. won't be there to help you anymore, as reported by ABC and the Financial Times. The Guardian's live coverage says Iran attacked and set ablaze a fully loaded crude oil tanker off Dubai, with local authorities later reporting the incident was contained with no oil leakage and no injuries. Trump also threatened to obliterate Iran's energy plants and oil wells if it did not open the Strait of Hormuz. SBS reports Iran has called U.S. peace proposals unrealistic as thousands of U.S. troops arrive in the region. Separately, SBS warns of a potential new front in the energy crisis, the Bab al-Mandab Strait, another choke point for global oil flows, raising the risk that disruption could spread beyond Hormuz. The conflict's spillover is also evident in Lebanon. The BBC and Financial Times report Israel says it will keep control over part of southern Lebanon after the war with Hezbollah ends, with Israel's defense minister also indicating homes in border villages would be demolished. The Guardian reports 4 Israeli soldiers were killed in combat in southern Lebanon, and that Indonesia is calling for an emergency UN Security Council meeting after 3 Indonesian UN peacekeepers were killed there. In Europe, ABC reports King Charles has confirmed a U.S. state visit despite growing calls to cancel it over the Iran war, and notes France, Spain and Italy have restricted airspace to U.S. warplanes. In the Indo-Pacific, ABC reports Japan has deployed its first long-range missiles capable of reaching mainland China, with an upgraded Type 12 missile range reported at about 1,000 kilometers. This is a material step in the region's accelerating military modernization. On technology and the broader technological revolution, The Guardian flags rising concern about orbital congestion and the risk of a satellite-smashing chain reaction as the number of objects in orbit grows rapidly. Separately, the Financial Times reports Iran's hackers are stepping up cyber operations aimed at sowing fear and extracting intelligence, underscoring how conflict is increasingly fought across digital as well as physical domains. Turning to Australia, the dominant economic and policy development is the fuel shortage response. The Guardian reports the Prime Minister convened an emergency National Cabinet meeting and has moved to have the fuel excise starting today, despite previously ruling out an excise cut. The key questions now are how much of that reduction is passed through at the bowser, and what additional restrictions or measures could follow if supply tightens further amid global shipping risk. On the housing market, ABC reports prices are rising everywhere except Sydney and Melbourne, highlighting a widening divergence across cities as buyers weigh interest rate hikes and geopolitical tensions. For the Australian public service and political settings, The Conversation reports the Prime Minister has rejected a push from Special Minister of State Don Farrell to expand the size of Parliament, shutting down that reform proposal for now. The Sydney Morning Herald reports MPs are set to receive more protection as politically motivated threats surge, with at least 10 people charged with serious offences since September over violent threats to politicians. On industrial relations, ABC reports South East Queensland train services will be disrupted on Wednesday due to industrial action tied to a bargaining dispute. The Conversation also reports the Fair Work Commission has abolished junior rates of pay for most workers over 18, a significant change aimed at improving pay equity for young adults. In legal news, SBS reports the federal court has reopened hearings in the Adriana Rivas extradition case, involving allegations of kidnapping and torture during Chile's Pinochet dictatorship. Locally, for commuters in southeast Queensland, plan for rail disruptions tomorrow due to the flagged industrial action.